क्या जी?
Hello and Jai Jinendra, everyone, each and everyone present here. I welcome you all to this 10-day online winter program on the fundamentals of Jainism. On behalf of International School for Jain Studies, ISJS India, and Loyola Mount University, USA, I would like to, and our management, our administration, and faculty members, I would like to invite our President, Dr. Shugan Chand Jain, Chairman, Dr. Abhay Firodia, Academic Advisor, Dr. Chris Chappell, and Program Director, Dr. Srinedra Pandey to this program, as well as all of you. Before we start, let us have a little invocation or Mangalacharan. Please join your hands. And if you're wearing shoes, you can remove them. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vajjayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam, Eso Panchinamokaro, Savvapavapanasano, Mangalanam cha Savvesim, Padhamam Havai Mangalam. If this is new to you, you have all received our help book, and this Mangalacharan is given there with its meaning, and you will know more about it in due course of time. Now, first thing first, I would like to invite our Joint Director and Program Director, Dr. Srinedra Pandey, to welcome you all and introduce ISJS to you. Dr. Pandey.
नमस्कार, Pranam, Jai Jinendra to all of you. I welcome you all to the 5th winter program on Jain studies. First of all, I would like to welcome our President and founder of ISJS, Dr. Shugan Chand Jain ji. Since its inception in 2005 till July 2020, he was the chairman, and now he is the honorary president of International School for Jain Studies. Friends, you will be surprised to know that after his retirement as information and system consultant in 2002, Dr. Jain pursued full-time Jain studies and earned PhD and promoted ISGS in 2005. So, behalf of myself and behalf of ISJS, I welcome you to the inaugural session of this online course on Jain studies. Our inaugural speaker, Dr. Abhay Firodia, will join us soon. Dr. Firodia is the chairman of ISJS. He is a famous industrialist and philanthropist of India, chairman of Force Motors Limited, chairman of Jai Hind Industries, and he is also the chairman of many academic and social organizations like Amar Priya Trust, Sri Firodia Trust, Sanmati Tirth Research Institute, Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute, Maharashtra Education Society, Moolchand Bohra Trust, and many others. So we are fortunate to have such visionary person with us as inaugural speaker of this session and chairman of ISJS. He will join us soon. I welcome our academic advisor, Professor Christopher K. Chappell, who is the Doshi Professor of Indic and Comparative Theology and Director of Master of Arts in Yoga Studies at Loyola Marymount University, Los Angeles, California, USA. I thank Professor Chris for his consent to organize this course in collaboration with his university. So, sir, I welcome you to the inaugural session of this online program. I would like to welcome our academic advisor, Professor Prakash Chand Jain ji, who is also one of the faculty members of this course. So we are fortunate to have his daily advice and guidance in our academic activities. So sir, behalf of myself and behalf of ISGS, I welcome you to the inaugural session of this online course. I welcome each and every participant of this course who are joining us from the different parts of the globe. I welcome my colleagues at ISGS, Dr. Ashok ji, Pragya ji, and Sushil ji, who always support me by their valuable suggestions and always walk, move, and run with me to make our program successful. Again, I welcome you all to the inaugural session of this 10-day online course on Jain Studies organized by International School for Jain Studies and Loyola Marymount University. Before I hand over the proceeding of this program to Pragya ji, I would like to present a brief introduction to ISGS. Friends, ISGS was founded in 2005 by Dr. Sugan Chand Jain of India and Dr. Sulekh Jain of USA as a voluntary, non-government and non-profitable academic institute with an objective to introduce academic studies of Jainism in the universities of the world, particularly to North America. And to approach this objective, we organize residential programs during summer and an online winter program. And we provide experiential and academic exposure to our participants. In 2020, to enhance our facilities to provide better infrastructure and better academic environment to our participants, ISGS merged its all operations to Amar Prerna Trust of Dr. Firodia family. During summer, we offer 2 programs on Jain studies, a 3-week program for senior undergraduates and graduates, and a 5-week program for senior graduates, PhD students, and faculties. We also offer a 3-week teaching for peace program for school teachers. Besides these, under the leadership of our academic advisor, Professor Christopher Chappell, yoga students from LMU visit ISGS for 3 weeks during summer. Right now, we are at the inaugural session of winter program. We introduced this program in 2018, and for 2 years, we organized this at Ahmedabad, near Ahmedabad in Gujarat. And since 2020, this program is conducted virtually every year from December 28 to January 6. Till 2021, 104 scholars from various parts of the world have attended this course. This year, 34 participants from North America, Brazil, Italy, Philippines, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, and India are attending this program. Friends, beside summer and winter programs, ISGS organizes 2 types of courses on Prakrit language. As a long-term course, ISGS offers a 9 months Bhagwan Mahavir Prakrit Fellowship program. We introduced this program in 2019, and the 3rd program is going on. We provide a handsome fellowship to the participants for this program. As a short-term course, we offer a 20 lectures program on fundamentals of Prakrit language, and the first short-term course was conducted from November 8 to December 7 this year. 34 participants from China, Germany, Sri Lanka, USA, and India attended this program. And we are going to conduct the same program with some modifications and with addition of few more topics from March 3 to June 2 this year in 2023. So in this 3-month program, classes will be held on Fridays and Saturdays only. Within few days, all the details will be available on our website. As You can see in this chart, more than 900 participants from the USA, UK, Canada, Europe, Russia, Singapore, Zimbabwe, Japan, Ethiopia, China, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Iraq, Pakistan, and Tashkent have been attended our academic programs. ISGS is also involved in other academic activities. So we undertake research projects on different aspects of genealogy. We have already conducted 7 research projects, and a project of English translation of Prakrit grammar of Acharya Hemchand is in the final stage by our senior research fellow, Dr. Ashok Singh. We also organize seminars and workshops on different aspects of Shramar tradition, particularly on Jainism. We are also involved in publication activities. We publish a peer-reviewed online research journal on Jainism. We publish a fortnightly newsletter. We also publish books and proceedings of our seminars. And till date, we have published 10 books with international standard serial number. And a book on Jain business engagement and ethics is under process. So friends, this is all about ISJS. Once again, I welcome you all to the 10-day winter program on Jainism by ISJS in association with Loyola Marymount University. We will try our best to make your 10 days academic journey fruitful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you. Over to you, Pragya.
Thank you so much, Dr. Srinetha Pandey. Now I would invite Professor Chris Chappell to give some introduction about Loyola Mount University to all of you. Professor Chappell.
Good morning, Jai Janendra, and welcome. It's so sweet to see people from around the world tuning in very early here in California, and I know it's nighttime in India, or soon to be nighttime. And I want to just say a couple of words about Loyola Marymount University and our longstanding relationship with the International School for Jain Studies. Loyola Marymount, in the tradition of Jesuit education, was established more than 100 years ago in Los Angeles, founded in 1911. And almost 100 years later, starting at the inception of the International School for Jain Studies, we have partnered and worked to bring the good news of Jain faith and practice to many students, both LMU students and students from around the world, such as yourselves. Our current slogan at the university, create the world you want to live in, inspires us in the same way that we find and can draw inspiration from the teachings of Mahavira, the teachings of Parshvanath, the teachings of the great founders of the Jain faith. And at the core, there's a shared understanding that we as human beings co-create with others our personalities, our social relationships, as well as the broader society that we inhabit. And just as Moses brought forth those 10 commandments, if you will, of honor your mother and father, do not kill, do not lie, do not steal, so also the great sages such as Parshvanath and Mahavira brought forth the practice of vow, vrata. And these vows require of us to be and to become our best self, to do no harm, speak no lie, to be honest, to be faithful, and to give up all forms of grasping. Whatever we have in the moment. And in that moment, we have to learn to give up the troubles and the yearnings of the past, and to give up, to cut that thread of expectation and regard for the future. And what we're doing in this learning experience is honoring this vision that we can become our best self. And we're honoring in this remarkable technology our capacity to learn. We've brought from LMU more than 100 graduate students and many, many dozens of undergraduate students over the years. And we're so grateful for this relationship, so grateful to Dr. Shugen Jain for taking up the path of svadhyaya, for taking up the path of study, and then having the vision to make these truths accessible to people from all walks of life, from all over the world. And then the remarkable support that we get from Dr. Pandey, from Sushil Jain, from so many of the staff and supporters of ISJS, and including the current president, Dr. Barodia. And on behalf of Loyola Marymount University, our dean, our provost, our president, and on behalf of the students from LMU participating, I really want to honor this gift and honor your presence as for these many days, we live and learn in companionship with one another. Jai Jinendra.
Thank you so much, Professor Chappell. Now, before we begin the journey, let us all know each other. Most of our faculty members are also here with us. We have Prakash ji, we have Professor M.N.P. Tiwari, Ashok sir, and Shugan ji and Professor Chappell are there, obviously. All of us would like to know about you. I would call upon your names. Just unmute yourself and tell us your name, tell us your brief background and your intent to learn Jainism. First of all, I want to call upon Mr. Rishabh Gandhi.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rishabh Gandhi. I'm a lawyer based in India. I was a judge earlier. Later on, I gave up judgeship and became a lawyer again. Right now, I am undergoing PhD at Vishwakarma University on topic of Sallekhna, legal status of Sallekhna. My interest is in Jainism, majorly because I'm born in a Jain family, that is one. But I don't follow Jainism I feel to the fullest. And that's the reason I have joined this course. Thank you.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Gandhi. Next, we have Mr. Eklavya Jain with us.
Hi, good evening all. As my name suggests, I am born in Jain family. So I'm joining from Dehradun, India. And I just completed a master's in higher education program from University of Pennsylvania, USA. And I've been working in higher education institutes for the past almost 12 years. All in all, there was a curiosity in me to know more about Jainism. There are questions that remain unanswered between the family and when you ask your siblings or your parents. So that was one of the main reasons that I found this amazing platform where I could learn about literature of Jainism, and the academic in me kind of brought me here. So I'm really looking forward to learn more about Jainism. Thank you.
Welcome to the program, Mr. Eklavya. Next, we have Mr. Javarilal Ghia with us. Mr. Ghia, can you unmute yourself? Mr. Ghia, can you hear me? All right. I think he sent me a message saying Jai Jinendra, but he is not answering right now. So I would move on to Mr. Stephen Godby.
Greetings, everyone.
Hello.
I'm a retired professor of world religion at Broward College. I've taught courses on the world's religion, philosophy, logic, ethics, and genocide. And so I'm here in this course to learn a little bit more about Jainism, of non-injury to human life, and how we can live a better life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Godby. Now we have Ms. Alethea. Alethea.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon.
Hello.
My name's Alethea Paredes. I live in Mexico City. I'm a graduate student at Loyola Marymount University. I'm a yoga instructor, as well as I'm starting a foundation to help serve elderly and children. And so I'm interested in this course just to learn and listen and get a better foundation on Jainism. And as Mr. Godby said, just to live a better life.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the program. We have Mr. Owais Aslam with us. Yeah.
Jai Jinendra,
Jai Jinendra.
tidings of peace and prosperity to everyone over here. My name is Owais Aslam. I am Muslim by faith, and I am the founder of an organization which is called the Indian Pluralism Foundation. And we work at the grassroots level to promote interreligious dialogue and interfaith activities amongst the youth, especially the school children and college youths. And my objective of enrolling for this course is that I would like to learn more about Jain religion, Jain philosophy, and the peace-building passages, and the various multitudes and optics of Jain religion, so that I could use them to further peace-building activities in the society. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining the program. We have Miss Veronica.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm Veronica Ghirardi. I'm based at the University of Turin in Italy at the Department of Humanities. And I'm a researcher, and I mainly focus on contemporary Hindi language and literature. But I'm interested in Indian culture in general, and I would like to learn a little bit more about Jain faith and philosophy, especially because I would like to approach Jain literature, and so I would really need, and I'm really interested in learning something more about the faith. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's really a pleasure for me to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Veronica. Welcome to the program. Now we have Ms. Erica Carenti. Ms. Erica.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erica Caranti, and I'm from Italy, and I'm currently a postdoc fellow at the University of Turin, the Department of Humanities. And I'm currently working on teaching methodologies for Hindi language, but my research interest focus primarily on sound culture, soundscapes, and performative traditions, living tradition in India. And I'd like to learn more about Jainism, and especially Jain devotion and Jain practices as far as performative traditions are concerned, and musical expression as well, and to know more about the Sikh in life and in religious practices. So, and thank you everyone for this opportunity.
Thank you for joining, Ms. Erica. Next, we have Kamlesh Jain. Kamlesh ji, please unmute yourself.
Good evening, everybody. I am Kamlesh Jain from Chandigarh. I am basically investment banker. So I did this program last year. I'm born and brought up in a Jain family. So from academic point of view, I really appreciated this program. So this year also, I plan to do it again. It will help me, in making my practice more religious, that way. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, Kamlesh ji. Next, we have Mr. Shreyas.
Hello everyone, Jai Jinendra. My name
Hello.
is Shreyash and I am an engineer by training and currently working in an investment bank. So I was born in Jain Digambar family and when I saw this course, I was deeply impressed by its content and its academic rigor. So I wish to embark on this spiritual journey to imbibe more of principles of Jainism into my life. That's why I'm here and thank you for accepting my candidature for this session. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Shreyas. We have Sumanta Rudra with us. Mr. Sumanta.
Hello, thank you. My name is Dr. Sumanta Rudra. I'm working as a senior vice president with a company called VFS Global. I have a PhD in management and completing another PhD in Sanskrit and Indian culture. I have joined this course to understand Jainism from the lens of religious studies. I'm also a director and trustee with Bhaktivedanta Research Center, which focuses on Vaishnava studies.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Rudra. And now we have Mr. Anish with us, Anish Sulochna.
Good evening, everyone. I'm based in Sri Lanka nowadays. I'm a student of Buddhism, and Jainism, being a Shramana tradition like Buddhism, has quite a few similarities, and I would like to explore it further by attending this course. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We also have Mr. Malang. Mr. Malang.
Jai Jindra.
Jai
My
Jai.
name is Malang. I'm originally from Taiwan. Now I'm the student from Pune University in India. I'm also very glad ISJS moved to Pune now. So I'll be able to physically visit the office and the staff there. I was an alumni of a 5 weeks summer program in 2019. So at the time I met quite a few students from Loyola Marymount University. So Professor Chappell's students a lot. And since I'm now in India, so I always keeping wanting learning more about the Jainism, especially now. I'm now learning about Buddhism and also Indian philosophy. So Jainism is a part of the social context understanding about all the Indian traditional knowledge. So I'm glad to join this time in winter program and to learn together with everyone here. Jai Chandra. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Professor Chappell must be proud of you. Now we have Ms. Reshma Devendra with us. Okay, Ms. Reshma is not here. We have Philip Ribeiro.
Jai Jinendra.
Yeah.
I'm a interfaith studies scholar from Brazil, and I work with programs of religious literacy. And I'm very fond of the Jaina tradition, and I'm translating the Saman Sutta to Portuguese and trying to bring the tradition here to Latin America. It's an honor to be with you.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you for coming. We also have Mr. Leonardo Stockler. Mr. Leonardo.
Jai Jinendra, everyone. I'm also from Brazil. I'm a historian and PhD student at Religious Studies in São Paulo, and I'm conducting research about Jain tradition, the relationship between ascetics and the lay people. So I'm here to deepen my understanding of Jain tradition and learn with you. Glad to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Next, we have Ms. Gayatri Sehgal.
Hello, my name is Gayatri. I am also a student of the Yoga Studies program at the moment. I'm also a social justice and animal rights activist. I'm interested in this course. I also use they, them pronouns, by the way. I'm interested in this course because I'd love to learn about how Jain teachings on nonviolence can apply to social and climate justice, and the metaphysical worldview that Jainism teaches, and the renunciate practices as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. We have Mr. Nayan Dhawan. Mr. Nayan Dhawan.
I am pursuing university, and my research is Jainism or Jainism. I have doing
I think your network is.
That's why I am trying to school.
There is some problem with your network, Mr. Nayan. We could not hear what you said, but we will know about you in due course of time, I guess. We can see you, but we cannot.
Okay, thank you.
Move to next, Pragya ji.
Yeah. We would now move to Mr. Yash Dhamija. Mr. Yash. Mr. Yash, again, there is some problem with your network. We cannot hear you,
Yes,
but
good evening,
we can
everyone.
see
Can you hear
you.
me?
Hello.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
All right.
Um,
Okay, so I would move to Mr. Akash Jain. Okay. We have Mr. Norman Pina with us. Mr. Norman Pina.
Hello, good evening and good day and good morning. Allow me to introduce Father Norman Peña, because right now he's in the emergency situation, and the place he's in is in poor network, like the one of the participants also. And he was telling me to help him introduce himself, because he has really problem with connectivity. So Father Norman is actually a Catholic priest, and is also a member of the Society of St. Paul, where I am also a professor in the St. Paul Seminary. He's the Dean of Studies, and he finished his master's in Griffith University, Australia. He finished his first PhD in communication in Pontifical Salesian University in Rome. And then he finished his second PhD in education in St. Paul University. And then he's currently a professor in Mary Hill School of Theology and Divine Word Institute of Mission Studies in Tagaytay, Philippines. So currently, Father Norman is also an active committee member of the Catholic Bishops, CBCP Catholic Bishops Conference of the Philippines, where it is working with peace and justice. And that's why we are interested to join in this study, because we want to go into that kind of dialogue, interfaith and interdialogue, where we can learn and eventually adopt and eventually have an eclectic kind of integrating the lesson that we will get in this course. So that's it for Father Norman. But I know that later on tomorrow, probably Father Norman will be the one to introduce himself. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Although that was new to me. Okay, now we would move to Lucille Calero.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm Lucille Calero. Yes, from the Philippines as well. I'm a university professor teaching for 29 years now. My areas of interest are quality assurance and higher education management. I'm interested to learn about Jain philosophy, especially whatever relates to peace education and nonviolent communication, and to learn from everyone as well. So I believe this is a very interesting group. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Ms. Lucilla. Now I would move to Rosalinda Thomas. Ms. Rosalinda. She just said she could not keep her video on. I think she has lost us. So I would move to Ms. Ben Etim. Mr. Ben.
Hi. Good day, everyone. Am I audible?
Yep.
Can you hear me? All right. Yeah. It's not. It's nice to meet you today. I'm Ben from University of the Philippines, Baguio. I'm also teaching philosophy, and I'm currently writing my dissertation in philosophy at the University of Santo Tomas, focusing on the work of Jean-Luc Marion, French phenomenology. I'm glad that I was invited to join the group to learn more things about Indian philosophy, Jainism in particular, because I would consider myself as totally ignorant about it. And so in order to at least abolish that ignorance, I need to also learn something and to extend further my horizon in learning philosophy, not just the Western kind of philosophy, but also the Asian or Hindu philosophy. So thank you and have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Ben. Now we have Julius De Leon. Julius.
Good evening to all of you. And I'm Mr. Julius De Leon from Centro Escolar University, teaching social sciences and philosophy. So I'm glad to be part of it because as part of our course, we have the interfaith dialogue in our theology classes. So thank you and good evening again.
Thank you. Do we have Mr. Ryan with us? Mr. Ryan.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hi, good morning, good evening to everyone. So my name is Ryan Pisigan Reyes. So I'm also with Centro Escolar University as a professor in the graduate school. So I'm an interpreter by profession, but I started teaching after I received my master's was in Filipino language and my PhD is in Southeast Asian Studies. So after I received my PhD, I was offered to teach in 2 universities in the Philippines. So I'm here because, of course, my curiosity for Jainism, and also this would be a good supplement, a good addendum in one of our PhD classes of religions in Southeast Asia. So it's good to see everyone. Thank you.
Good to have you here too. Okay, next we have Mr. Ronald Tila Cruz. Ronald. I don't see him. Okay, no. So I would move to Mr. James Priscos.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm James Loreto Piscos. I was the one talking a while ago about Father Norman. So glad to see everyone here joining this program. May allow me to collaborate in our areas of engagement. Particularly, I'm a full-time professor of San Beda University in Manila, teaching and in history and anthropology. And also, I am a graduate school professor in the Southeast Asian Studies in Centro Escolar University. And also, I'm teaching philosophy as an exchange professor in St. Paul Seminary. So our group in the Philippines was able to join here today because I was able to meet Vivek Jain in a particular conference in the Philippines, where he was one of the presenters, speakers. And then I was able to meet him by chance because I was the one fetching him and bringing him to the venue. And then we were talking a lot because I was a brother before for 9 years in the seminary. And then we talked a lot. And he was just telling me about this program, actually to meet a number of Jain people. So I got so interested because I'm into interfaith dialogue. And since I am connected in St. Paul Seminary, I was talking to Father Norman, and we were proposing a kind of how Jain studies and Center for Peace and Nonviolence be established in the Philippines with our knowledge that we can get from this course. And we're so happy to meet everyone here because we know that we can collaborate with this kind of engagement. And we're so excited that we'll be able to establish that intercultural and peace center, hopefully, because I'm also working in a graduate school with the Centro Escolar, and of course, as a full-time professor of San Beda University. So nice. My heart is full of gratitude to see everyone here, and thank you for accepting us.
You are all welcome, Mr. James. Okay, next we have Mr. Christian. Do we have Mr. Christian?
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to everyone. Good morning. I'm Dr. Christian Brian Bustamante. I am also working in San Beda University, Manila. I have different roles in the university. I am the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. I am also in charge of our quality assurance and also the data protection officer of the university. Educationally, I have my MA in philosophy. I also have my MA in public administration, major in public policy, and I have also my PhD in philosophy. I am here as a philosophy student. I want to learn Jainism from the point of view of philosophy and to understand it more as a philosophical school of thought.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And lastly, we have Mrs. Alka Jain with us. Alka ji.
Thank you, Ms. Pradya. Yeah. This is Dr. Alka Jain from India. I'm a professor of management and I'm teaching in Takshila Business School, which is located in Jaipur. And right now I'm on sabbatical leave learning pathways in Pune. And since being a Jain, my faith in Jainism is crystal clear. But my intent behind joining this course is that since I'm a Shwetambar Jain, so most of my knowledge is based on the Shwetambar Agama. And being a management professor, I'm also working on the concepts of management found in Jain literature. And just Shwetambar Agamas don't give me a complete picture of Jain literature. So maybe by joining this course, I'll be exposed to the other stream also, that is the Digambar stream. And I'll come to know more about Digambar philosophy also. That was my intent behind joining. And this is nice to be with scholars of history, scholars of philosophy, sociology and humanities here in this group. I welcome you all, and I take this as an honor for me to be with you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for joining the program, Alka ji. Happy to see you here. And I would like to call the last participant, Miss Neelia. She's here. Neelia.
I'm sorry, it's quite. Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late.
I think you joined from some other name, so I could not identify you.
Yes, my Zoom name is Yang Balanon, but my real name is Nelia Balanon Ramirez. And I am also teaching in San Beda University. San Beda University. I was introduced by Dr. James Piscos with Jainism, and I don't really know much about it. That's why I agreed also to join, because it seems to advocate peace. And since I'm also teaching theology, and we are actually into interreligious dialogue and exploring other spirituality and religion. So I'm also very much interested and excited to learn Jainism.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is our Galaxy of Stars. And before moving on to our chairman's inaugural speech, I would like to welcome Professor Pramod Pandey, who is the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Deccan College, Pune. We also have Professor M.N.P. Tiwari, a renowned art historian and one of our faculty members. So we are glad to have them with us. Now, I would like to welcome and call upon Dr. Abhay Firodia, our chairman of ISJS, and he's the chairman of various educational institutions. He is a constant admirer of studies in language, philosophy, and Jainism. Dr. Firodia, please come forward and present your inaugural speech.
Good evening, friends. It's a privilege for me to speak at this inaugural function of this very interesting program by ISJS. I am delighted and privileged to see that there is such a large, diverse, distinguished audience and list of participants for this program. Rather than speak about my knowledge of Jainism or speak about what you should be studying in this program, I would rather speak for a few minutes about the project that I am privileged to push in India, which is for a learning center, which I have called as a putative name, Firodia Institute of Philosophy, History and Culture. Fundamentally, this pursues Jain philosophy, history of the evolution of Jainism in the context of the other traditions in India, the development of Jain culture in terms of material culture and also in terms of social culture, and how Jain values have impacted and influenced the Indic value system. As we all know, there are two mainstream religious, what would you say, traditions in the world. One is the Abrahamic tradition, and the other is the Indic tradition. Indic tradition, as Dr. Radhakrishnan, a former president of India and a great scholar, said that the Indian religions are feminine in nature. They are non-aggressive, they are accommodative. The distinguishing feature of Indian religious and philosophical tradition is tolerance and asceticism. In the Indian tradition, in the Indian society, the person who gives up something, who is non-possessive, is considered a greater person. If you look at in recent Indian history, if you look at a person like Mahatma Gandhi was a frail person. He was not a warrior. He was not a freedom fighter in the sense the Turkish Ataturk was. He was a person who led by moral lesson and moral example. So Indian philosophy, Indic culture is based on an accommodative, a flexible approach to personal life, to society. On the other hand, the Abrahamic system has a completely different approach. Most Abrahamic religions are proselytizing. They believe in one God, and they believe that if you follow this God, you have salvation. If you do not follow this God, then you are doomed. Whereas the Indic systems encourage you to look upon yourself as an individual irrespective of whether you believe in God or not. And the Jain tradition is typically a non-believer tradition. It is based on doubt. It is not based on certainty. And to that extent, it is important to know how this religious tradition has impacted the Indian value system. I had the privilege some time ago, a few years ago, to meet His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And when a question was asked of him as to, Your Holiness, what is religion? His answer was, I think, a classic. In one sentence, he said, religion is the process of enhancing faith in values. He did not talk about enhancing faith in God or enhancing faith in religion, but in values. Jainism basically has this philosophy that it is the values which are explained over millennia by the various great achievers. Those values should be the guide for us in our life. When a question was asked of Mahavir as to what is religion, so he said truth is religion. And when he was asked what is truth, how do I recognize truth? Mahavir said, Panna samikhe dhammam. Examine the truth with your own conscience. What you understand in an objective manner with your own conscience is religion. So it is the values that are explained, not mandated, not dictated, but explained by the preceptors of Jainism, defined Jainism, and following those values, emulating those values, is living a life which can lead to enlightenment, purity, happiness in the present world. That is the totality. In this knowledge center that I am pursuing at the moment, there is a distinct effort to explain what are the philosophical concepts which define Jainism. These come from the Shraman tradition. A Shraman tradition is approximately 5,000 years old. It started with Rishabdev, who was in the Bronze Age. And from the deduction that the Bronze Age was of this period, you can well believe that this is 5,000-year-old tradition. The tradition evolved with different philosophers till it came to Mahavir, and that was 2,600 years ago. So for more than 2,000 years, there was evolution of Jain thought, Jain values, Jain culture, Jain society, Jain efforts in different areas. What Mahavir said was said at the time when Indic society, the civilization in India, had evolved to a very mature level. Whether it is the Vedic tradition or whether it is the Shraman tradition, they were living peaceably with each other with a great deal of intermixture in values, in attitudes. There was no religion-based conflict in India. So what at the beginning was said was to create for man an understanding of how to live in a world where nature is powerful. 5,000 years ago, that was the condition. 2,500 years ago, at the time of Mahavir, the condition was that, yes, nature is powerful, but you have adjusted to nature. you have found prosperity, you have found civilization, you have found a value system. Work towards self-elevation. So there is a fundamental difference in the teaching between the first Tirthankar or the first teacher and the last teacher. Now, how is that relevant? The relevance of this is that India was a very stable society at the time of Mahavir. Also emerged at the time of Mahavir Gautam Buddha, who was his junior by some half a century. Gautam Buddha simplified the Shraman tradition in a manner which appealed to a large mass of people. And Buddhism spread over a great part of the earth, all the way from Central Asia, Afghanistan, India, into Burma, into Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, China, Japan. One must understand and respect very sincerely the fact that this religion spread on account of the power of its teaching, not by the sword, not by invasion, not by conversion. It was by acceptance. Western scholars who came to India or to Asia to study this part of the world and to analyze the philosophies, the values, the history of this part of the world, looked at the impact of Buddhism all over Asia. And they looked at Mahavir, and they felt that Buddhism is different from Jainism, and both, they said, were reactions against the conservatism about the religious rituals, about the excesses of the Vedic tradition. There is no denying that the Vedic tradition has been a much more violent tradition than the Shraman tradition has been. They believed at the beginning in sacrifices and so on. Yet, this is a wrong conception that Mahavir created Jainism and Buddha created Buddhism at the time that they came here. The reason for this also is, for this misconception, after the Islamic invasions of India over the last more than 800 years, in a couple of centuries, let us say between the year 1200 to year 1400, the entire Buddhist population of India was annihilated. There is a basis to believe that, like China has been fully Buddhist, Central Asia and Afghanistan were fully Buddhist, India too was fully Buddhist at the time of the Islamic invasions. And when the entire leadership was killed, the population lost its way. They either had to die or to convert or to take the risk. This happened on the background that the Vedic culture had a revival on account of the great Vedic scholar Shankaracharya. So the assumption of the Western philosophers was that the Vedic culture was always the most prominent stream of India. And the Shraman culture, with Buddhism as its, let us say, most important stream, was a reaction, and Jainism was another reaction. I want to humbly explain, and this is what I'm propounding in my knowledge center, that India was very largely Shraman. And the point that Mahavir was the founder of Jainism is not correct. Jainism is very much older. Mahavir was not even Jain, he was a Shraman. 1,000 years after Mahavir, the word Jainism came into being. So this was a Shraman philosophy which was very close each to each other, Buddhism and Jainism, and they were not antagonistic to the Vedic tradition. The development of Indian society, what values were propagated? Why till 200 years ago, the statistics say that 200 years ago, the gross national product of India was 32% of the world's gross national product. The GDP of India was 32% of the global GDP only a little over 200 years ago. By the time colonialism ended in India, the share of India had fallen to less than 2%. So why was India prosperous? And why did it decline? Why did it decline? I need not to talk about. But why was it prosperous? It was prosperous because it was a peaceful society. It was prosperous because the religion-based conflicts among Indic traditions were not present. Yes, with Islam, there was a conflict. With Christianity, there was a conflict at a much smaller scale than with Islam. But the Indic tradition of collaboration and above all, the development of society and human beings. Jainism teaches values for self-development. It teaches values for collaboration, not for domination. It teaches values for self-elevation, not assertion. And this aspect is the most important aspect of India, which created a prosperous society. One must not overlook the teaching of the first Tirthankar, who, among other things, exhorted that mankind should indulge in trade. Trade. I'm not aware of any other religious preceptor in the world who spoke of promote trade. He spoke of agriculture and productivity. He said, produce surplus, live a prosperous life. Mahavir, on the other hand, said, elevate your own soul and free your soul. This was based on a very highly evolved metaphysical concept. So Jainism should not be looked upon, in my opinion, only as Mahavir's teaching, which are great. My speech for the last few minutes is not to say that Mahavir was not relevant. The greatest contribution of Mahavir is not ahimsa. The greatest contribution of Mahavir is not aparigraha. The greatest contribution of Mahavir is anekantvad, inclusiveness, acceptance of the multiplicity of views. To say, I hold my view. I respect your view. Don't try to convert me. I will not try to convert you. We all can have our own views and live peaceably, because that is what is important. And therefore, Jainism has a timeless message. The timeless message is, on the one hand, on the personal basis, to live a life which is responsible. I would not say only frugal. I would not say only non-possessive. I would say responsible. And on the other hand, Jainism emphasizes peaceable living among people in one society and among various societies. In today's world, this is the most important thing that matters. You have today, after half a century of somewhat of an orderly world where the wars were limited to certain areas, unfortunate wars which did kill a lot of people and did a lot of economic harm. Today we are living in a world where wars either are happening or are threatening to happen any moment in many areas of the world. I do not think that in the last 70 years there has ever been a time when the global situation was as unstable as it is today. That is so far as society and nations are concerned. But also on a personal basis, we do not see a period in the past, in the recent few hundred years, when human actions were so precariously poised to damage the earth, to damage the ecosystem, to damage society. Human consumption or consumption by human beings was never at the level at which it is today. Can the world bear the burden of this level of consumption? Can the world survive unless there is reconciliation? Can the world be made to understand what the values for personal and social life are? And I believe that is what Jainism and its spread should aim for. I'm not saying, and Jainism expressly forbids proselytization. Jainism also does not claim that there is a creator God. If you believe in one, by all means, you have every right to believe. But don't foist your God on me. I will not foist my values on you. I will explain what my values are. If you accept them, I am happy. If you don't accept them, it is your life. So this aspect is very, very relevant for society as we go forward. This aspect of Indian culture has never been fully understood in the world. Jains are looked upon as a very small minority with a tradition which is not as grand as the tradition of the Buddhists. I want to humbly say that in this knowledge center that we are building near Pune, we will be showcasing not just the values, the metaphysical concept. It's not a museum of things. It's a knowledge center where the metaphysical concepts like Jiva and Atma and Karma will be explained for the person who is not fond of reading complex big tomes on philosophy, to the common man, to the young person. On the other hand, it will also explain Jain tradition, how it came into being, how it evolved, who were not just the great Tirthankars, but there had been a long list over thousands of years of great teachers. It also takes into account the fact that it is not just the Jain teachers, but other teachers in the Indic tradition who contributed to the inclusive, non-aggressive culture of India. Underlying this is the statement and the belief that I have that the Jain culture, Jain values are central to the formation of Indian values of peace and collaboration. And this is what I expect this knowledge center will explain to people. And finally, we are attempting to explain whether in the current life, we live in a very modern world. We use telephones, we use aeroplanes, we use packaged food. Are we able to live a responsible life? Or are we not able to live a responsible life? And what could that responsible life be in day-to-day activities? And that is the effort that this museum or this knowledge center or this Center for Philosophy, History and Culture, mainly focusing on the Jain tradition, is attempting to explain. I am delighted that so many of you have, from your outstanding and various background, decided to indulge in a study, a review, a deep dive into what these values are, I want to extend to you my warmest good wishes and great success. And I do hope sincerely that from this interaction that you would have with the scholars of ISJS and with many other great teachers who are going to be talking to you, you will be able to appreciate, imbibe, and thereafter to propagate the values of Jainism. Jainism is not a religion in the sense the Abrahamic religions are religions. Jainism is nothing but a set of values. And those values are the ones which are universal. Those values are non-conflicting with anything. They are only talking about elevating your own soul without impinging on anyone's beliefs, anyone's traditions, anyone's ego. So I'm delighted to have this opportunity to speak to you. And I want to say that what you are doing is something which will enable a lot more people whom you come in contact with to share your insight. And that might, just might, start an introspection by people. We are never going to be able to convert the world. We don't even want to do that. We want people to think for themselves. That is what Jainism says. And what to think, what have our ancestors thought? If that we are able to focus on, then we have won. Thank you very much for listening to me patiently. I am grateful to you for this opportunity. Jai Jinendra.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Firodia. It's always lovely to hear from you about Jainism. And you have told us the crux of Jainism that we are going to study in this course. Thank you so much. And thank you for being with us. Now, I would like to invite our president, Dr. Shugan Sanjain, to give the vote of thanks for the program. Shuganji.
Thank you, Pragya. I welcome all of you to this program. And I hope that your presence, active presence and involvement in the program will enable you to understand what Dr. Firodia has been saying, the Jain values and the meaning of who am I, the values. And I think they are very relevant in today's world, where you see violence all around. Man-made violence, natural violence in the form of climate change, wars in the West and in the East. And every day I worry what will happen tomorrow, what will happen to my children and grandchildren. So this is a value, this is a program you will find is of universal brotherhood, love, compassion. Like one of you said, the Dalai Lama's kindness. These are all different aspects of non-violence that you will see throughout this program. So I welcome you all, and my request to all of you is, number one, that if you have any questions while the lecture is going on, please use the chat box. Because we tend to read the lecture, is requested to attend to the chat box whenever he has time, so that the lecture goes on, without any interruption. Of course, in the end, we have time to ask questions, interactive. Second, I would request you is to keep your video on. We want to see you, we want to talk to you in person to person. So if you please keep the video on. Third is, please be in time and be in the program, because that way you will enjoy the beauty without any breaks and not interrupt in the lecture because you are late or something. If you still have some questions which are not answered, please do write to Dr. Pandey and we'll try to come back to you. Because we want you all to be satisfied. We want to respond to your inquisitiveness about Jainism and about what we are talking. And finally, I'm really grateful to two groups of participants. One is a large group from Philippines. And Norman, I'm thankful to you for taking the initiative to have so many, philosophy professors from different universities of Philippines. I hope we meet your expectations and encourage you to carry it further. Like last year, we had one participant from Brazil who attended this program. She came to India for the summer for 6 weeks, and she started teaching in her university in Portuguese, not in English. She translated our book in Portuguese. And the result is that we have 2 PhD scholars from our university attending this program and thinking of coming to India for their PhD research based on Jainism. That is our reward. That is what I earned by spending my time with all of you. So welcome you all. You have been listening to a long time. I hope you get what you are looking for. So I thank you all, and I thank our faculty members, some of whom are present here, like Dr. Professor Tripathi, Tiwari, Professor Chappell, and Professor Pradeep Pandey, and others. I hope this program meets your expectation. Thank you very much for the honor.